good evening, and welcome to this edition of A Walk Down Memory Lane. I'm your host, Earl Basin. I am awaiting my co-host in Dennis Brown to join us momentarily, but we have a whole host of guests this evening. We have with us Dale Russell and Randy Bean. We have Dennis Russell and Glenn Bean. We have Cal Dill. We have Garrett Punchy Dill. We have Maceo Dill. We have Shervin Dill. First of all, good evening to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for taking this time to take us down memory lane. I know you guys would have had some battles with and against both, the elders and the youngsters. But Dale, let's start with you, only because there's so much of your story I think a lot of people don't know nowadays of what your accomplishments have been and were in the sport of football. So just take us through a brief synopsis of your career.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, I went to America, Philadelphia. I went to school in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I got drafted in the draft, and I went to Germany, and I was drafted by Tampa Bay Rowdies, and I didn't go down to Tampa Bay. I went in Germany. It didn't work out in Germany. I came back, and then my coach got me a spot down in Houston Hurricanes, down in Houston, Texas. I played in the Astrodome. I played here for 3 years in the Astrodome. And as I played professional, I played also indoor professional.
Mm-hmm.
I played indoor and outdoor. I played outdoor for 3 years. I played indoor for 7 years. One of my highlights as far as playing professional was playing against the Cosmos, and it was 77,000 people. Yeah, that was my highest crowd, that I ever played against. I mean, played in front of. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty well a summary there.
I'm pretty sure everybody sitting here would have known that some way, somehow. But let's jump down to Shervin. Shervin, first of all, welcome. Your first introduction to someone like Randy and Dale. I know Randy would have played with you guys at some point, but your first introduction to those guys, what was that like for you?
Well, Dale was always like my hero prior to Randy. And when I say that, I mean Dale's my brother-in-law, so Dale's pretty much the same year as me in age, but he was an outstanding player from young, and he was a person that I always admired as a footballer. He was one of my heroes coming up, despite the fact that he played for Page C.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until he left for school. Him, Johnny, James Painter, quite a few of the PhD guys went overseas to school,
Right.
and they used to really turn Bermuda upside down when they were brought back by PhD for Chicago. So we didn't get to see a whole lot of Dale in Bermuda, but following his career, I had the opportunity to go to Texas and watch him play indoor, and I was so proud of him and Philadelphia. So that's I call him Barfa. He had that left foot that he could kick a ball out of the air. And hey, you want to see some screamers? That was that Russell boy, Dale.
Randy, for you, obviously.
Randy came over to North Village. He was encouraged by Joe Trott to come over, and I think Coach was after him at the time too.
Mm-hmm.
But he could tell that story.
I can do that, yeah.
Yeah, and Randy, he brought quality to North Village. So again, he came over to play with Village. He brought a different style. and a different technique, and he was also amazing, entertaining person to watch play football. I was surrounded by quality players.
Right. I
They
just
sure.
okay. I just like to say before we go to me, Dale has something to say, and I tell him he has to tell his story before he goes any further. And that was when he won the Triple Crown. He'll let you know after he tells this one here. Then you can come to me. Okay.
All right.
I won the Triple Crown, FA, League, and Friendship. And then a week after that, my daddy came to me and he said, "Hey Dale, I see you won the Triple Crown. Let's get on PAC." I said, "For what?" He said, I'm got a football here. Let's get on PAC." So we took the football and him and I went down PAC. And he said, "Okay, now your Triple Crown, get the ball from me. Get the ball from me." Now you have to understand, I was 17 years old and my daddy was up in his 40s or 50s. And I couldn't get the ball 2 hours. He was here 2 hours. 2 hours. He said, "You could kick me, you could do anything." 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the ball. I said, "Daddy, you were great, man. You were great." Yeah, that's the story.
All right.
Yeah, getting back to me, my experience was like I played up Rangers in my earlier years, and when I left Rangers, I guess I told you the story the first time I was on here. But when I left Rangers, I actually wanted to play. I never played Premiership. I wanted to play First Division. At that time, it was First and Second Division.
Right.
So what happened was Rangers had about 3 chances to go First Division. All we need to draw the last 2 games, and the guys went celebrate, and they never went up. So I said, "I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm too good to be playing down here." You know, I didn't really. I was saying that, but I didn't really think I could make it up there. So anyhow, I said I'm going to join Colts.
Right.
So when I went down to join Colts, at that time at Frog Lane there was 2 fields. Colts trained on the far field, and Northfield trained on the front field. So I walking over there. I walked up to Dan and I said, "Yeah, I'd like to join Colts." So he said, Dan used to, "Well, Randy, I have a lot of young players coming up." I said, "Oh, okay, that's good. I said, "Yeah, I'm getting back Rangers." So as I was walking, the ball had went down. I stopped watching Village for a while. The ball went down, and Joe Truck said, "Hey, I saw you walking over there." I said, "Yeah, I could join Coach." He said, "Coach, but join Village." So we was talking there, and as I was talking, this little tall, thin guy was walking. And he was walking towards Coach, and Joe called him. It was Gumbo, because he was playing for Devonshire Lions. I now forget it because he was only 16, or he just went 16, and he was going to go join Coach. So what happened? As me and Joe and he were talking, he said, we just had the conversation, said, "You know him?" I said, "Yeah." I didn't. First time I ever saw this little fella. So anyhow, he said, "Well, he's going to join my Village." He said, "Well, me too." And then, hey, all of a sudden, I joined Village. Now, I can take you through this story, but it would take a little time, but I don't want to take up all the time.
All right.
I got to get to this point.
Is there any one bowl?
Yeah. I got to get to this point here. I remember training, and then they picked the squad. I said, "Oh, man, I can't make this, man. These guys are too good. I ain't going to make this squad." So they called us the squad, and the 16 was there. My name came up. Nah, I got to go buy these Red Sox. I now forget it. When sportsman shop, I had nothing but nickels and dimes trying to get this pair of Red Sox. So anyhow, then the game was cool. I will never forget the game neither. The first game of the season, we played against some social club out the rack. So anyhow, I said, "I'm in the 16. I was all excited. When they called out 11, I could not believe that name. I said, "It's another Randy Bean." Because I'm only right and Randy Bean on the left. I said, "There's another." Man, butterflies hit me. I never seen so many people in my entire life. So anyhow, as the game went on, I was passing the ball. I wouldn't do everything right. Joe Truck ran up to me and said, "You're in training session, you're ripping these guys, and this is the enemy. Do what you do."
Yeah, ripping.
Gumbo went down the beam, bam, Fresco. I scored, then Alpha scored. I believe Cal scored. And we beat them 3-1. And that after that, the rest is history. I just love this team I was playing with. I used to love Village. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, that was my experience coming from Rangers.
And you was pretty content.
Yeah, we made that deal. I gave about. And before I go any further, I just like to shout out for Nick Gumbo, and then we all know what happened to him, and I just keep him in my prayers.
Sure.
And Gene Hammer Simmons.
Yes.
So yeah, you can bring in the rest now. I got a lot of stories, but I'm going to slap a show for this.
I'm going to quickly jump to Cal because you mentioned it. Cal, the experiences of some of these guys on here with you, what was that like for you playing with and against some of these guys here?
I tell you what, when you say about sitting back and watching perfection, whenever I had the ball, I look for Randy, Gumbo, and then it's like, go ahead, you guys, just do your thing.
Right.
And it was and when they got the ball, it was magic. It was magic, man. And I remember Randy one time. I'm trying to think which game it was, man. All I know is like I was struggling, and Randy, you came to me. I don't know if you remember that. I think it might have been hotels. You say, "Hey, Cal, man, look, don't worry about it. Pass me the ball." I passed you the ball. Next thing I knew, the ball's in the back of the net. He said, "Well, man, you get the ball for me every time, man." Yeah. Hey, it was a pleasure.
Sure.
Ralphie was always our go-to guy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Punchy, you being with not only your brothers but having somebody like Randy to look up to as well. You're always in a competition when you see someone like Dale, but just being around in the game at that time, what was that like for you?
Oh my God, there's so much to say. Good evening, gentlemen. Just to say about those two right there. Like I said, I'm the godfather of football right there, Mr. Randy Bean. I wish we would have videos and stuff. And at that time, Randy, I was the first. I got 10 minutes in the game against Social Club too.
Oh yes, that's right.
Llewellyn had actually taped that, right, Cal? Llewellyn Smith.
Llewellyn, right?
Yeah, you saw that reel. I don't know, but getting back. Let me start with Dale first. Watching Dale when I was young, And I always remember that tournament they had in Bermuda. I think we won it too. Yeah, and Dale used to only like 16, 17.
Right.
I think the country with 3,000 or 4,000 people up there, and what you guys play and what you play in particular.
Right.
I never knew that ball was like glued to your foot, like glued. And it seems that this, I'm gonna tell you more about Randy, but Dale had this instinct for brilliant minds, like a thinker. It's like a thinker. And I always knew that about Dale. Dale just thought the game, like he sees the game, like let me see if I can make it equivalent to someone like maybe somebody in Manchester said, I know you guys are with your teams, but Dale's like just a thinker. Like he could see the smartest. He just thought the smartest things easy. The smartest things easy. Now Randy is a whole different story. That's my teacher there.
Dribbler, right?
Now I'm sorry, Mr. Bean, Mr. Bland, but your father taught me a lot. When I used to watch him play, I was like, if I can have as much talent, left, right. I played with Randy. It's like, and the thing about it is, Randy played with such flair. He had a left foot, right foot, could shoot from distance, and just do this stuff on the field, just amazing. So you're like, okay, my turn. And like Cal said, you give Randy the ball, two people, forget it. Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. So it was good. It was really, they taught me a lot. Taught me playing with Randy was just like, again, even playing with Cal and my brother Sherman when I was playing younger. Right. Like even playing with Cal was like just like up and down, like a throttle, like
was a winger.
Cal was like, what? Yeah, you couldn't come short with these guys. It was the demands were made of you, you know. And so, you know, it was just a pleasure playing alongside of Randy and with my brother Cal and with my brother Sherman in the younger days.
Yeah.
You know, and it was quality. I mean, you know, like both Dale and Randy sitting there again. I just wish we had the videos of them to see stuff that he's done. I always remember this one game, and I don't want to go on. We played up Rangers. I'm sorry, Randy. I didn't know you embarrassed people. You stop if you were beating them like 3-0, then the carnival started. And I'm waiting for the ball on the outside. I said, "You can pass the ball to me." And stand on the field, you flick the ball up on the back of your neck, rolled it down, and flicked it over your head to me. And I said, "Hey," I was like, "Look." So I have never seen it. I've seen some stuff that you've done that you remind me. If you go back to the Brazilian tape, some of the stuff he used to do, and Dale, it just not the opposite, but just talent, just unbelievable talent.
Hey,
that's what I gotta say about those two. Yeah,
right. Let me come in here. Hey, you must remember that I used to, when I was in the junior football.
Yes.
I used to go over Warwick Stack and watch Randy Bean. I used to hide in the bushes and watch Randy Bean go up and down Warwick Stack Field. Now you know how long Warwick Stack Field is.
Yes,
he was going up and down, and he was doing different drills. On your head, on your knees, on your feet, no drops. I was watching them, no drops. I said, "Randy, dropping nothing. What's going on? This guy, brilliant. Yeah, man."
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
So when I got to start the junior football,
yes,
I started going over Warwick Stack, dribbling up and down the same way.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. It was from I was really like 13, 14. Yeah.
Sure.
Randy Bean's like a David Silva. He's like a name, just quality, like the Don. It's a combination of them all. Cal's a little different. Cal's like, I'm gonna see Cal. I'm trying to, put this together, but just unbelievable talent. That's it. That's what I gotta say to you, Darrell. Yeah.
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a commercial break, but when we come back, we're gonna get to the youngsters about how challenging it was, as people would have looked at them as their fathers. So, be right back.
All right.
Okay.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
We're featuring a range of remarkably effective household cleaning solutions made with ecologically sound ingredients and pleasing fragrances from Ecos, a company with over 50 years' experience producing plant-powered cleaning products. The founder was a veteran chemist in the cleaning products industry and started up Ecos as a response to the harsh chemicals he had routinely encountered. Try Ecos non-abrasive cream cleanser, vinegar window cleaner, and in spray bottles, Orange Plus and Parsley Plus cleaners, shower and floor cleaners, furniture polish, and stain and odor remover. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. I know Dennis is having some issues, but welcome, Dennis.
How you doing?
Night, guys.
Night,
Night,
Dennis.
Which Dennis you talking about, Earl?
Dennis
Brown. Dennis Brown.
The real one. The real one. The real one.
All right, coach.
I'm going to go to the Dennis Russell right now. So Dennis, coming up as a Russell, obviously there's a lot of pressure on you because that name is synonymous with football around the island. But under that pressure, how were you able to handle that?
It wasn't any pressure. I can say, let me tell you, I was about 9 years old. Tonsi took me outside. It was me, Tony, and Tori, and Antoine, and Tonsi. It was three of us. I had 3 years on Antoine. My grandpa was about 60-something, and they beat us. Antoine was about 6, about 9, and we couldn't get him. Grandpa's old, and we couldn't get him. So now moving along, right? Dale, my uncle Dale, took us out in the yard and said, pass, both feet, outside banana, shoot, both feet. We came up like that. So it was just natural, you know what I mean? And right as the game, we went inside, did paperwork and all that, board work. So, you know, coming up, it wasn't no pressure. Just get involved, pay attention, work hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So where did this pass me the ball so I could shoot come from?
Oh, that's me. How to shoot, and I'm gonna score. Weekends, like that. So my uncle told me to I had to train on my own. So I did training on my own, and I just wanted to show off. You know what I mean? I felt like I was exceptional good. I wanted to play for the premier team. It was first division at the time, but I wanted to play for the premier team, and I was 14, but I was just too young. So I was anxious to play with the older guys ever since. So I wouldn't say no nervousness. It was just ready to go.
Sure. And Bland, for you, clearly, you had a lot of people in your ear talking about, you know, how well your father played and so forth, but you had to become yourself. You had to become your own player. So listening to that in one ear and trying to be Bland himself, how difficult was that for you?
Well, the funny thing about it, right, Earl, those people don't know. I didn't start playing football until primary 5.
Oh, wow.
Didn't even kick a ball. We would look at guys outside, have a little, you know, watch them. I wasn't even playing. My daddy used to take me out where exact. He'd be in the girl. I take a shot. When this gonna get the ball, I'm riding off to him. I ain't playing this dumb sport. so for me, it was actually a different word that I took for getting the love of the game. Because all my family played. Everybody played. I know my uncles played. Everybody played. But for me, it took a little while for me to actually get the love of the game. And once I did, I still play to today, as you know. So
yeah. So many of these other guys too. Denzel, for you, clearly a name with a deal, playing for North Village in a North Village, setup. What was it like for you getting involved on the field?
For me, I was born in Russell, so let's start from there. I was born in Russell. I didn't become a deal till I was probably about 6 years old. I think it was. So that always conflicted me. That always conflicted me being between PAT and North Village. So her on one hand, I have my Uncle Dale that my daddy and my mama sending me to every Christmas to watch him play football in Philadelphia. I see life-size posters. You know, I'm right in there. I hear people screaming his name, and he's from PAT, and my grandpa's from PAT. And then I come back, and I got my Uncle Cal, my Uncle Punchy, my Uncle Parks, for North Village. So it literally conflicted me. And then I grew up City Hill. But I played football for North Village in time. So it was always conflict and it was always rivalry for me. So I think that's where I developed my rivalry type of behavior, my aggressive behavior in having to deal with a rivalry from birth. So if I had to go Ton, I had to give of a rivalry because I stayed City Hill and I went Prospect Primary and everybody else went Purvis. If I came City Hill, I had to deal with a rivalry because I played for North Village and everybody else played for PAT. So it made me super, super competitive. Then
I can add one thing.
let's not talk about that. I have to come in front of a firing range between the Russells and the Deals and talk about football. That's like a firing range. Like after you finish a game or after you coach, after you do, that's like a firing range. And you're literally sitting there in front of the firing range and you're hearing all the opinions and all the things that you have to uphold. So it actually built, and we would all say it in the Russells, it built serious characters in us as people. I mean, you watch how Antoine moves, you watch how Marco moves, you watch how Blaine and Dennis moves. It built serious confidence. So that confidence that it built in us to move around the island and do what we do. And I haven't even got into my grandpa's situation yet, right?
Right.
The sort of influence that is here. But for me, my journey into football was always a conflictual journey. That's probably not a controversy now, right? Because there's always conflict for me growing up in football, but I love it. I actually love it.
Because Mace, before I actually played minors for PAC, right? I was a Village fan. I used to go down the field red and white.
What you play, right?
I was Village. All my cousins used to let me have it. So Village, you used to have to hear all your life. But once I played for PAC, that was it.
He still wears a red and white jersey underneath, but that's quickly going to be
Also coming out, what made us really great when we played football at Purvis after work and school, it was every generation out there, all ages, and everybody. We got to see the best, the guys that's playing, and the people that's not young enough to play. They all got to watch. So we need those backyard kicks.
Yeah.
Hey guys, hey Earl, just to add, right? Randy being Randy's daughter, she started out playing football with North Village too.
Yes.
And if you ask me, she was the best Russell of them all.
Don't let her hear you say that.
And she played with John and David.
Oh my God. Hey, was a goalkeeper taking 13s.
Hey, sir.
Yeah.
Nobody was better than the old man. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yes. Dale, I agree. Townsend said he was better than Pele.
I was so shocked when he took me down PAC and 2 hours, man. You know how long 2 hours is in football? That's long. And I couldn't get the ball, man. He told me I could follow him. I jumped on his neck. I put my hand around his throat. You know what I mean? And I couldn't get the ball. I couldn't understand it. That's all. Right.
That's quickly good to Patches. What was that like getting into the North Village team, knowing that you got this name of Deal and just the name around the club?
It was a struggle. It was a struggle. I remember my first year trying to break into North Village's team. I sat on the bench for 90 minutes for a whole season. And they just kept telling me, wait your turn. Wait your turn. Yeah, I'll never forget it. And tell me, when you get in, make sure nobody takes your spot.
That's the right. Yes.
That's the one.
Yeah. So I just battled it out. And when I got in, that spot was mine.
That's right.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But these guys that you're talking to, Uncle Randy, Uncle Dale, my father, my uncle, and my Uncle Sherman. It was some good times playing with these guys, playing against them, especially in the backyard. I'll never forget the Good Friday kicks.
Right.
Down in the garden. Down in the garden. Up all night making kites. That next afternoon. Down in the garden, mate. Playing football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, playing football. Deals against the Russells.
That's
Yeah.
right. Better
Down in the garden. Yeah.
That's when they substitute the dog for me.
Yeah, my fault.
Hey, Randy.
I heard about that.
And then,
come on, Randy. I'm putting
Yeah.
the dog on for you.
and then coming up, me and Mace do every day in the yard. My granny's 2x4 yard, about 15 guys in the yard. Big metal fucking water pump. Yeah, 15 guys playing the ball in the yard.
Right.
So it was a challenge, but we had to work hard, and we had leaders in front of us that was sharing us the way.
Hey, Earl, could I say something?
Sure.
Me and Sherman all often talk about this here. Then I went back to play for Rangers, right? Played against Village. And Sherlock, Quentin Sherlock, playing center half. Punchy got possession of the ball. I said, don't die. Punchy put a million on Sherlock. Then he meant to go back. They took him off on a stretcher. Me and Sheriff, I said, I thought this young man well. Hey, they took him off at Sheriff. Took him off on a stretcher. I said, don't die, man.
Don't die, Ian. Don't die.
Oh, you got the ball like a figure eight and sent him one.
I think, yeah.
You
I
remember
think
that one?
Yeah. I want to say.
I heard. Randy, Sherlock came in too quick. I said,
Don't give it a little too quick. Yeah, a little bit too quick.
Punchy pushed the ball through his legs. He pulled a muscle and kept running.
You guys, I heard Klopp make a statement a week ago about what it is desire, with Liverpool, and it kind of rang true. I kind of thought about it because I thought with North Village, with Randy, of course, and Gumbo and Cal, Klopp made a good statement about, yes, we get paid a lot of money, but we entertain.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And that's why people come out. Like if I'm gonna watch Dale play, it's entertainment.
Yeah, man.
It's quality. And when the club said that, I said, well, damn, that's what we guys used to do.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. That's why you get 3,000 and 4,000 people to a game. Yes. And it was not only about winning, but it was, of course, you had to win. Trust me. Yeah. That was number one. But it's also how you did it, how you went about it. Which when Klopp said that, I said, yep, that just rings true to me. Yeah. And the other thing I want to add to it, I don't know if to take on the show, but the other thing I want to add to it about, it's funny, I can understand the stress, not the stress or like what guys got to live up to, like Blaine, like even my son Jamaico, even like Patches. Like I can imagine what the Russells, you can't come show up with us. Because when I go watch a Russell play, I'm thinking about Dale.
Right.
When I watch a Russell Bean play, if I watch Blaine play or his son, I'm thinking about Randy. What quality. So I think there's also pressure for that. But I mean, I think what we demand a lot, considering what we used to do on Good Fridays, and it just holds true. There was a lot of demands on me and Cal and Dale. Right. Yeah, because I'm watching you. If you don't play good, I don't know what family you came from.
The other thing, one thing I also like to say is, man, it was a treat playing with Village, with that triple claw team, with the team in general, I watched players come through, man. I watched younger players come in the team. And when Cal was there, Cal was one of my favorite wingers because I know he's going to go across this guy and he's going to be like a stop sign because all this can be standing. and the thing I like to say, then came Parks. I used to watch Parks play. The guy, his feet are so quick. So looking at the ball, man, grand like this here, and you say, which way is this guy doing? So I remember a game one time we played against Hotel. And boy, he was giving this guy, Andrew Corwell, such a nightmare out there. Andrew said, well, boy, I'm gonna put a stop to this one here. Boy, he wailed him, boy. Cal must be there from everything. Let me help you. But I'm saying, but Parks, Punchy, and guys that came after us, they followed the pattern that we had already planned in Village, Right. When you came there, you just filtered in. The players that came, the younger players that came after Cal and myself, and they filtered in, and Punchy, when those guys came, they was like a glove. The team never lost nothing. Anything at all to gain, man. And to me, that legacy. And even now, I teach young guys about football. I teach them how to become a good footballer. Because I watch a lot of football now. Guys cannot weigh a pass of the ball. All of this is important. And the vision of the game is very important. I told my grandson, Marco, I said, listen, you know something? I was blessed with at least 7 guys on that field that can handle the ball.
Yep.
I said that makes so much difference. If you gave the ball to Cal, he ain't gonna lose the ball. You gave the ball to Gumbo, punching him. Those guys do not lose the ball. So it's a difference in what I see today. It actually needs to be coached, but it's not. So I'm just saying, I was just at that deal. But this was legacy in North Village.
Sure.
But also, right, Beanie? Right. If you remember about when you're talking about coaching and all that, right? Remember the equalizers.
Yes.
Do you remember that? So a lot of us Russells and the younger Russells got to play against older players and played the right way, playing at the equalizer.
Taught the right way.
Because the equalizer, that older generation, they didn't play fast, but they played more the right way. So as you learn, when you're younger, and as you learn, that was the rite of passage to go to play for the equalizers. Then you knew you arrived. Then you said,
yes. That's the other thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, again, I do want to acknowledge, because Marco, as Randy has acknowledged, Marco is in the building with Maceo there.
Just makes blindside runs, Marco does.
What's that?
Marco just makes blindside runs. He just shoots.
Best thing in the land. I can tell you that.
You're up, Dennis Braun.
Yes. Good night.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
Back in 1995, a pair of entrepreneurs working in their garage with essential oils began to realize the potential of organically produced body care products. Now, in a 56,000 square foot facility, EO products are shipping to millions worldwide, an inspiration to aspiring family businesses to be sure. EO products were the first in their field to follow the quality and safety guidelines established for organic foods in their production of high-end organic body care products. This month we're featuring EO Lemon Coconut Lotion. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Welcome back, Dennis.
Cool.
Yes. Good night, guys. It's a pleasure to have you guys on, man, because I could only imagine growing up with so much football around me. Like I just can't imagine, because this was like probably a dream to me to have so much footballers right here, like legends. Legends and the Sons. Dale Russell, a guy I grew up watching initially because Danny Seymour was my brother-in-law. Danny used to stay up Cedar Hill, and Danny used to take me to a lot of PHC games. Growing up, saw Cal, played against Punchy. Saw Randy, and your sons are doing the same thing. Before I go, I just want to congratulate Marco on winning the MVP. thoroughly deserved. The bet,
Congratulations,
the,
Marco, man. Yes, sir.
the,
Yeah.
the best footballer in Bermuda, hands down. And it really irritated me when I heard somebody say that the coach said you're too small.
Right.
The only thing I'm gonna tell you is persevere, hang in there. Once you get your chance again in the national team, take it with open arms. The deals, well, I have deal history myself. My mama used to be a deal.
Yeah.
So I always say I used to be. My mama used to be a deal. So
you should
I
have came,
always.
you should have came down North Shore.
I
Why you stay up there? You were very welcome.
Yeah. My mama was a deal. My mama was a deal. So I always wonder, like with this group, and I put it in the thing today about if you had 11. I said 6v6, but I would say 11v11. If you had 11v11 tournament between the Russells, the Beans, and the Deals, I'll put my money on the Deals.
Hey, all right.
Dennis, so that's right.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
Only because I'm a deal. Only because I'm a deal. Okay, but to Dale, because I played against Dale when Dale went down White Hill, man, and I talk about Dale right up to today. Dale, the first time Eagles got promoted to the first division in the 80s, Dale was playing for Eagles. The first game of the season at White Hill, Somerset played against Eagles. It had to be about the Hill Somerset had to be there.
Right.
And that was a rivalry that season right there. And Dale had a free kick from about 30 yards, man. And I used to talk about this free kick right up to today. The ball had to be Dale struck this ball, had to be like 2 inches off the ground. And Lou didn't see it until it hit the net. and Eagles, and that was the winner. Eagles beat us 1-0 that day.
Right.
And you know what I mean? But to play against Dale, man, it was a pleasure because the guy has so much knowledge. He just didn't talk it. He showed it.
Yeah.
He even showed it when he coached Paget. Paget, because I talked to one of my workmates at the college. He played for Paget, and he talks about Dale all the time about how Dale enhanced the football. And Paget lost. Dale came midway in the season. Paget didn't win a game. Paget ended up winning the Shield, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? All you guys are from Patches, because I watched Patches play. I watched Dennis play. Dennis was a top striker. Maceo was a pain in the neck. You know what I mean? You guys had no excuse but to be good football players because of what you saw coming before you. And your grandpa, right? That's a guy who always held close to my heart. You know what I mean? We had a lot of reasoning talks and all that there. So talk about what Tonsi meant to you guys coming through.
I can say something real quick. When in his wheelchair stages, we used to take him to football games, and he said, "Dennis, everyone needs to know my name." You know what I mean? He said, "Everyone needs to know." So that's how we talked.
Right.
I could give you a little history on the rivalry between the Russells and the Deals.
Okay.
I'll say it goes back 40 years. It goes back 40 years. It was a tradition for us to make kites on the night of Good Friday. I was started right before the night of Good Friday.
Yeah.
And we finish our kites, get a bit of rest. There was a big match between the Russells every good Friday. And it started like 40 plus years ago. And the first game we had was down in the garden in front of the Russell's house.
Right.
Tonzi was the master, no doubt. Tonzi was the master. He had his team. And I kept my team, Deals. And it was a fierce rivalry. Randy was playing for the Russells. And like I say, Derek, who we had mentioned about, who was also so incredible.
Yes.
Deals. He was not going to play for the Russells. So we had most Deals.
So they took him. The Deals took him.
And Randy Bean, of course, playing for the Russells to start out with. But he kind of got substituted for the team the first time. Started playing for the team.
To the old man?
Yeah, I was drinking.
Put the dog. And they told me the dog was dribbling on the V.
What's the other?
Stiff. The dog was named Stiff.
Burford was away at the time, and he
I was
would
away. Yeah, I remember on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Tonsi being Tonsi, because I remember the Deals winning the first match. Tonsi went and got ringer.
Oh yeah.
Ringer?
Yes.
Deal blocker for the next match. So I went on got ringers, everybody and Joe Trot and Gumbo.
Right. Yeah. Bringing different players. Yeah.
Next match, we had like two national teams up there. Two
playing against each other.
Playing. And we
Playing
took
in the garden.
We took it over Purvis. Took it over Purvis, Cal, the next because
right.
Yep. I remember Purvis.
I think it was 2 years in the garden and then it went Purvis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe one of the he was very good. And I know they still wanted to start. Was able to start again.
Then I'm making pancakes for both families the whole morning.
He wasn't able to start. But that's how good the rivalry was. And with the youngsters coming in, they certainly carried this. We had those matches, sure, Russells versus Steels.
I'll just add to that.
Sure there was. I mean, meaning that we did no one team dominated for many years, depending on the inclusion of the ringers that went along with it as well. But the youngsters took it over. They still play today. Not wrong.
Yeah, they still play today.
But it's old against the
younger. The old against younger.
And I suppose
over 30. Yeah.
They should guys to talk more about that, but that's been a tradition for over 40 years.
Right. Could I add something?
Sure.
I add one more thing. After a while, they start having these six-a-side tournaments, and if you look at the history of these six-a-side tournaments, all the Russell boys, like the young ones that played, they won mostly every tournament there was.
Right.
Yeah. But I come to find out this young Dennis here and the young Antoine could not play together.
Could not play together.
They could not put their shoes together. Hey,
you learned the secret.
You can ask Leon about that.
But
they won every six-a-side tournament that there was. I used to go watch them. I was retired there, and I used to go watch them. And it was amazing. Wherever they had it, they say, there's Russell boys. The Russells entered the team again. It's trouble.
Let me just state something publicly and add to. I mean, Dennis asked a question about the impact of Tonsi, right? And at his funeral, I did a tribute to him, and in that tribute, I mean, and it was during COVID time, right? In that tribute, I appointed myself the self-appointed leader of the Russell and the Deal clan, right? That's something Tonsi would do. He'll self-appoint himself.
You're on his seat, right?
Right. And in that self-appointment, it was a declaration there that we would have to start the Russell and Deal game once again, in honor of Tonsi.
Yes.
That's something that now that we're across the COVID period, that something has to happen. And I'm making this declaration publicly with my cousins and everybody. See that's here as we're progress in the journey of our football, because that game was so significant. It was, trust me, it high stakes for forever.
Yeah.
I actually, and that was again cementing the love affair of football for somebody like me, being young at the time and trying to get into into the team. I can give you a story, uh, with once the likes of the Joe Trots and the Gumbos and that level of player came into that competition. It was like, me and Patches again had to start to take back seats and get the game, sit on the bench. And that's when my Russell comes out of me. My grandpa promises me. I mean, he's probably they're playing. They're doing Alex Ferguson and Wenger stuff, like the psychological games that were going on there were serious. So what my grandpa does is promise me if I come play for the Russells, he'll make me captain. So you're like, but that was a blow. That was a blow to my daddy. It's like you're gonna take.
I would like to say something.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something to Dennis. Dennis.
Which one? The original?
No, you got the original. Not the original.
The carbon copy.
I want to let you know this here. One time, Rangers knocked PAC out of the FA Cup final, semi-final, and we were a second division team. I will never forget this as long as I live. So we guys went. We had to play Somerset Trojans in the Cup final of National Stadium. The reason why I want Dennis to know this here, the first half, it were nothing, and I hit the post. I was so excited. Even though we lost 6-0. Hey, you ever see somebody being 6-0 and being excited?
No.
But you had guys like Wendy Horton, man, George Braywood, Bernard, and then guys.
Yes.
Yeah, and the second half, we were in it, right? I had guys like Rick Ritson playing for me, man. And Cliffy Ritson. Right. So what happened? We had them this first half. We was all looking good. Second half, boy, there's floodgates open. You don't see the guy. He was never come on the field smiling with me. I thought I didn't bring that up to Dennis, but hey, there was some times. That was like in the 68, 70, something like that. 71, 72, something like that.
I want to say one more thing about my daddy.
Okay.
My daddy told me that when he was up playing against Rangers, and when they went in the dressing room to get dressed for the game, the coach told him, Chauncey, nobody's giving you the ball. So the first half went up, Rangers went up 3-0 from nobody giving my daddy the ball. He said the second half, when they went in the dressing room, the coach said, hey, everybody get Chauncey the ball. He scored the whole 4 goals. 4-3, right?
Yeah. Hey, before we go, can I just say something about Daddy Russell?
Yeah.
My other grandpa.
Sure.
The best coach I ever got coached by. He is a menace. He is a menace, but he is real. Up until my time, I had never heard about this W. Yeah, boy, came on the desert and said, you guys are playing this W. I'm going to teach you this W. This coach used to come to the game, pick the team, and go inside. And never watch his team play. Come out halftime, guys up 3-4-0. I remember one time he was suspended from PAC. He watched us from Cedar Hill. The guys didn't think he was paying attention. The next day in training, he told us, what we done wrong and what we done right. Yeah.
Is that Tom?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a look at Cal deal, ask Cal that Townsend was coaching. Townsend told him to stay wide. Cal said, You guys can say whatever you like. I'm painting the lines. I think that's something.
Hey, honestly, guys,
That's now.
I played for the national squad under Alan Jones, Graham Adams, and I mean, I had good coaching. Chauncey Russell was my best coach, man. Chauncey Russell made my game so easy, and I'm playing A. He said, "Stay wide, and the ball will come to you, man." And I stayed wide, and the ball came to me. I can have a lot of stories, man. I can tell you, man.
My biggest thing about Chauncey, right, Grandpa? My biggest thing about him is that every grandson that went to, he told, don't tell the other one, but he had the best.
Yes.
That's him, boy. That's him. That's him.
The Chauncey and Tokia too.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. Hey, Cal, I'm gonna add to that. If you didn't stay wide, he'll take you off over 10 minutes. He's telling you, you stay wide. You don't stay wide. I don't care who you play. I don't care who you are, Mr. Constable. He'll come off. It took me off, man. You don't stay wide. So, what a character Mr. Chauncey Russell was. I tell you. I said, whoa, easy, pat you on the show, you're good, you know. And then you go around and tell Parks, but you're better than Punch. You're better than Punch. So yeah, I say, Parks, what do you think? He says, yeah, I'm better than you, man. But I always know that. I said, yeah. You know what? I think also with Chauncey and being around these guys, getting back to those Good Fridays, like I couldn't wait, man. It was serious. You couldn't make no mistakes, man. It was like maybe 15 or the 50. You can't, like, if you pass the ball wrong, something's wrong with you. Like you're off. You know, so that's what's missing a lot in even today's game. That those type of things. Because, like I tell you, I know exactly what we're talking about. With Skip, you was living up City Hill then, so I can imagine what it was like. You know, having this, but kept waiting. I couldn't wait to after 2 o'clock. The game started 3 o'clock. Be ready. He's ready, man. And Maceo and Patrick said on the line, "Oh, they gonna get in." No, sir. Yeah, and tackling and kicking. But the other thing is that you saw such talent. It was talent. I'm telling you, the Chauncey and Skip was like war, man. But but camaraderie was really good. You know, having to play against Randy, you had to go play against Randy. In a small space like that, you better be good. I tell you, man. It's like, well, so those memories are very, you know, I cherish those memories. I think about that a lot. Me and my brother Skip always talk about that again, trying to do that again, like Maceo has, you know, had adhered to about, you know, because it's very important for development. And I think Patches and Maceo learned a lot from us in terms of those little games. Little games. And guess what?
Let me cut it. So
yeah, you didn't pay nobody to show you those tricks. You ought to have them when you didn't have them.
Right, that's it. Right. Okay. Yeah. So talking about great coaching, right? Uncle Dale was my best coach coming up. The training sessions. I mean, it was real. It's like everyone's personal. Like, you know what I mean? We got to see who's the fittest. We got to see who's the weakest, and we all work together. We did some different training sessions that I still haven't done. You know what I mean? Uncle Dale's like really a great coach and life coach on the field. So you know what I mean? I ain't seen nobody really sit down and do board work. Guys need to get back to the foundations.
Excuse me again. I think, Skip, we can go back to something. I just bring up another incident that I wanted to bring about. And thank you. Bless your soul, Skip. When I got out of playing, I decided to try, because I played football in the United States. And Dale, and as soon as I started talking about Dale and Maceo would know about this, and Patches, but Patches didn't go. So what we did, you guys, we took this group of guys, we put together, Norfolk is assembled. Thank you very much, Skip. That was my first coaching job with Norfolk. But I decided, okay, let's take a group of guys to play in the United States in this tournament. And Maceo, I think Maceo was going to school. I think Maceo, were you?
That wasn't good.
Yeah. And I knew the coach started Sal. Let me tell you a good story here. So anyway, we got together, we raised this money, we had funds. We got down to Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. I can't tell you what a joy it was, what I learned. Now, we had to play against guys that had played for the Nigerian national team, Ethiopian national teams, but they never had seen Dale Russell. They never had seen Herbie Bascom. That's right. And so we ended up anyway becoming. They cheated us in the last game. Don't you think, Dale? We should have won. And Streaker, man. Yeah, definitely. But what I'm saying to you, it was never recorded. And I was the coach, also the director, because I was, I organized the trip. Right. But to watch Dale play and watch Herbie play at such a quality, them, you know what they were saying? These guys, you pay these guys are professionals, right? I was like, no. No. So, Dale, going back to that again, if people not seeing you, Marco, you're there, or seeing Uncle Dale play at that level. And again, Dale, watching you play and displaying that calmness, and the girls that you scored, of course, the quality of you and Herbie. And I had to have Herbie there too. It was such a good tournament. I just learned a lot. And again, it was my first coaching stint, but organized people. And Dale, thank you so much for helping me out with her. You kept players calm. Remember, we lost the first game. That's when we, God bless his soul, George. We had that big meeting on it. And are we going to take Streaker, who was 15, or we're going to play George? You guys voted, overpowered me and said, no, that's your mate, but he ain't playing. Right. I remember, God bless his soul. And you guys say, no, he ain't playing. And I had to tell George, no, George. And we put Streaker in goal at 15 years old. Make sure you played the whole game, I do believe, didn't you?
Yeah, let me just add to that story of Kapanchi, because it's some significance in the. It's two things that I want to add to. People like Uncle Dale and Tonsi, they've been ahead of the time with the football Bermuda. I don't think Bermuda has been able to appreciate and respect what these guys' brains work like and football. Yes. If you see where lost are, and even if you look at Marco standing here, the way how he plays the game, it's the way how he plays the game. And you're right, we're lost that. So it's important for these conversations to generate for us to understand the significance and the quality of the game and the style of playing the game. And I want to add to what you're talking about the tour we went on to Alabama. That tour that we went on to Alabama, I was probably 15 and 16 at that time. Me and Streaker were the younger players, but that was the reason I ended up going to school there, and I getting educated, from an academic standpoint, because I was seeing when I was as a young kid at 16 there, and then my whole family has been to that place. The Russells are old Blaine was in Alabama. Tokyo came over. Randy was in Alabama, and a whole generation have been to Alabama to get academically educated. To make us the citizens that we are, and those things are very significant. And I want to give Uncle Panchi a lot of credit for some sacrifices and significance that he's made, because we can talk about now Ramy Coddington, which is Uncle Panchi's grandson, and we could talk about Sadeo Dio, which is my son. The sacrifice that he made to move to Bournemouth for 2 years to give these kids the platform to show themselves in football. Now, Remy is now at West Ham Academy, and Sadeo's in his first year of university playing non-league football and showing through the sport and the art of football, these guys are building a legacy and building a life. So it just doesn't stop her for this family, right? It doesn't stop her for the deals. It doesn't stop her for the Russells as to what the legacy of football is done. So it actually makes it very important for us to push that legacy onwards. The younger generations, my daughter and Zante and Mom sitting here. You saw Ziana came in there. We have a lot of, and if you look at from Patches, from the deal side of people. So, in respect for Tonsi, we have our responsibility to reunite that Deal and Russell rivalry. We do, and these things that our country needs to be aware of, and it needs to create history, especially when you talk about my Uncle Dale. Like I said, I've been around my Uncle Dale since day one, and I've been to Philadelphia and seen life-size posters of him set in his house, and we talked about football. And it's things that make the hair on your neck stand up, and our country's missing that. So my plug for us is to make sure that we mobilize ourselves to push those agendas forward because it's important.
And just for the joking side, hey Dale, I'll just let you know, you got your attention. You do remember the news reporters didn't want to talk to the coach, me. They want to talk to you. I'm like, you don't want to talk to me? No, we want to talk to the two guys right there. So it was. Thank you very much, Maceo, about that. I just wish that like you're saying about continuation, like Dennis. As I go around the country and I see the lack of participation in organization, summer programs, the kickabouts, that was so important for us for the development. I hope that one time starts again. Somebody else takes up the reins. And Skip, again, I go back to you. I thank you for supporting me again for that tournament to actually see Dale Russell in particular at his best, even at his age, particular at his best. So I was like, whoa, so there we go. Anyway, that's I just want to say that. And, it was a very good lesson. It was a very good lesson for me to learn. Even like the Skip, my brother supported me. We done so much stuff, but it was just a very good part of again, even for Maceo to learn, and and it was not. If they did profiles on the players, they had a date. I never brought it back to Bermuda, but they actually did on the television in Huntsville of the games. So it was good. It was a good time. But again, for the youngsters here, like Mr. Marco and Bland, I know you're retired, and even Mr. Dennis here.
I'm still kicking.
I just hope that it's a continuation, like Dennis. Like Dennis, as we know, like what happened up in Sums. I just hope that the country regenerates football even in the off season.
Yeah.
That players from all over can play together. Because I just can't make for Marco. Well, Maceo again, I can't. Remy's coming back, and all these guys coming from England. You're the next generation for the country, and I'm glad that was brought up. Leadership that to be playing with these guys, something. The association have something where we could see them on display, which would be great. Which I always thought about. I mean, Skip talked about this. Putting these players on display, and we done that one time. I think Dale, you remember the big tournament we had down North Philly? When you charged people, and we had Sean Gooder come back and David. It was thousands of people down. They paid $1 to come in, but put them on display. Let's do something. That's the point that I'm making here. That's all.
I like that. I know you got to go, right? I like to add one more thing to this legacy. I remember in 1980. Dale was playing professional in Houston. Was it Houston? Yeah. Houston. And Sheridan, myself, and Derek actually ran up there. We flew up there to watch him play. Professional. He was a professional. My brother-in-law was a professional. He was signing autographs. I was signing autographs too. But it was really a treat to watch him play. And I'm talking about the place was rammed. I'm saying, man, he's actually out there playing professional. And it was an achievement. And we actually flew out there to watch him play. Stayed there 2 weeks, and we enjoyed the whole thing.
Yeah, I do want to. Chairman driving my BMW.
And my mama. Mama went out there, Chucky.
That's why he brought his BMW that is cut. You do.
Okay.
I do want to ask, because we do have, we do have Marco sitting here, and he's listening to you guys talk. But Marco, just listening to these guys reminisce about times as a young person in the game now, and again, congratulations on that MVP. But listening to these guys talk and reminisce, how does that make you feel?
I feel very appreciative of the work that you do and Maceo and the crew to help document some of the stories that these guys tell, because I think, as Punchy mentions, it's not too much footage going around of how they played, the way they played, the culture that it was back then in relation to how we can compare that to what it is now. So I appreciate your documentation of what these guys are saying, because it can definitely be a benefit of guys like me and guys in my generation and generations that will come after me to get this sort of information, to know who these guys are. Because a lot of people, they won't understand unless they, hear from the horse's mouth. And I'm glad that you're able to do that for these guys. And that means a lot.
Come on. Sure. Dennis Brown?
Yeah, one of the things, and I always talk about back in the day, and people, I guess they get tired of me talking about back in the day because of what we put in.
Keep talking.
For real.
About what we put into the game.
Yeah.
I just because I coach young boys Sunday mornings at work. Bermuda College, and I was talking to a couple of parents after my session on Sunday. So I said, just look over there. And that was the older guys like Randy's crew over there. I said, just look at that. What you see over there? And it had to be like 15 aside. And I said, what you see right there? Oh, they say it was touches and angles and the things that we teach now came natural to us when we were coming up because we had those backyard kicks.
Yes.
Playing in small areas, and it brought out the good players and it brought out the players who were not so good in small areas and who had good touches. So those things are missing. One of the things I talk about as a coach is coaching is teaching.
That's right.
So if your players don't leave your sessions, or if you don't ask your players at the end of your sessions, what were some of the objectives of today? Those players have lost, everything that's in their session. So it's important to teach these young guys today about how the game should be played.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Could I add to that?
Yes. Before you go, Randy, this is the guy, Earl, Randy.
Yeah.
I approached Randy last year, right? I said, Randy, you need to come on this show because you have so much to give. Randy said, no, man, I'm nervous, man. I can't do that. Yeah. But look at him now. He has his own suit. I'll tell you. Just like Bumba.
I just like to add one thing, though. I mean, I actually gave back to football, in this island because I had a team called the Equalizers. It was just a Sunday morning, a Bradford League kick. But you couldn't play for that team if you couldn't play football. I mean, I didn't just let guys run around. And if I had players that came in the team and they just started doing a lot of, I sat them down. You go over there, sit down for a while. But it's a lot of guys came in that learned how to play the game of football. Simply because I learned from the best players in North Village. So when I went out there, I implemented what I knew about the game. Look, one time he was in a tournament, the Equalizers in a tournament, playing against these young guys. I said the first game they beat, it was like a round robin. They beat us 3-0. So I said, you know something? I said, look at them. Watch this here. I packed the midfield with 5 players that can handle the ball. I said, watch them now. Watch them go haywire. We beat them 4-0. they couldn't understand it. They couldn't get the ball pump on them. They start cussing one another, because they never saw nothing like that. But what I'm saying, I teach guys. You couldn't come with the Equalizers and just talk about you can do that and that. I sit you down. I actually taught, and there were guys that actually came there and actually went and played Premiership football. I remember a guy named Sully. He was a basketball player. He came down here football. When I look,
Sullivan Phillips.
Yeah, he's a striker for and he was taught by, because I had guys like Lloyd Taufik.
He know nothing about football.
Yeah, Lloyd Taufik, Clyde Gooder, Royden. And these are guys that have playing midfield that can handle the ball. I believe in players that can handle the ball, that can actually, losing the ball causes a lot of problems.
Yep.
And this is what happens in the game. It's not taught, it's not coached. So I'm saying when you play for the Equalizers, and actually I'm gonna show you something now. I played some practice match against some Premiership teams and actually beat them.
Yes.
Just beat them because I'm telling you, it was how the guys played and knew how they play the game.
But not just that, Beanie. Remember, we even played in the prison yard. We took
the prison, right?
And I just couldn't take anybody up there. We went in the prison and played these guys. And when the prisoners scored, It looked like Randy Steady. Her
Hey, better believe it.
I remember one
Better
time
believe it.
the white dude said, "Let's silence the crowd."
Is there any
I
Proctor?
think that's giving back. I'm teaching because see, it's a lot of bad habits in the game today, and
Yeah,
it's not
look.
actually coach. You know what I'm
Who's
saying?
the one that didn't come back? Pay back.
Yeah,
He didn't come back no more. Right. You have the ones that didn't come back.
It was rough up there.
Yes, man.
I just couldn't take anybody in the prison.
Yeah.
Them guys have slammed you, mate.
You know, one of my best memories to the Beanie with the Equalizer stuff. It was, remember we played Andrew Bascom's team, right? It was a bunch of young guys.
Yeah.
And they beat us the first game.
That's
and
right.
Andrew came to me, said, probably 5 years ago in the plan. I said, Andrew, bring them same guys back next week. We'll be ready.
Yeah, we want to.
We got a few Russes on the team. We
That's it.
We'll lose twice to you.
They couldn't even call Dennis.
They called Dennis as my striker, and we beat him up. And then look, Andrew says, okay.
But like I said, and then the whole family played for the Equalizer. Even my grandson Marco, at one time, this Jamaican guy called me and said, Randy, he said, man, look, listen, I want to have a kick against your Equalizer. I said, I don't think you want to play it. Yeah, man. And Mark was about 6 or 7, something like that. So I had him on the ring out there. But he was turning them guys. I heard the guy say, hey, man, look. They see the little man there, man? Don't the mark that little man, but the man to play ball, man. So these are the things, like, even now, I even tell Marco now, I said, you know something? I said, I was blessed. I said, I wish you had this here. I was blessed to play with a team like North Village that I have 7 to 10 guys on the field that can handle the ball. I said it makes so much difference. I said, you got guys running with the head down, lose the ball, then you got to run for it. I said, no, we never had that in North Village. And and I was telling him this year has to be implemented in the game of coaching. Guys got edges, but I don't know what to do with them.
Let me quickly ask Sharon, the style that North Village had and kind of tries to still emulate, where did all that come from? How did that start?
Well, we always had a trouble with facilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we used to train out Frog Lane, and during the winter months, it got dark early.
That's right.
So you had to learn how to play, control the ball in the dark.
In the dark.
In the dark. And we used to have to wait for Devonshire Rec to turn the lights on so that we can see over Frog Land. So we always train late, and that's where a lot of the ball skills came from. It was a lot of open play. But I want to say that the style of North Village was established a long time ago.
Long time before that, right?
Yeah, whereas we like to entertain, and we like to be ball carriers, and it was back in the day with Jack Romaine as a center forward.
I played against Jack Romaine, and I could throw the ball on my chest.
Sewell, and Cal can probably answer this question better than me. Cal, why don't you take over, Cal?
Skip, I have to say that the origin was from Peaksville.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Peaksville was maybe about 40 feet a square. And you had 20 guys on the team. So you had to be able to control the ball. And it was early unders. It was no outsides, no fouls. But when you got the ball, you better be able to control it and pass it, man. And that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
That was it, man.
Yeah. The other thing I like to add, man, is this thing. When we won the Triple Crown, we guys used to meet every time we played Sundays. We used to meet every Monday. Remember, Cal?
Oh, yes.
Every Monday.
Ron and Purvey. Oh, yeah.
And we would talk about the game, and then guys would say, what should we do?
Talk about Sunday game.
Yeah, we talk about the Sunday game. Then one hour said, well, look, let's implement this here. Let's train every time, let's step up the training. Let's step it up to like 3 days, 4 days, and rain, blow, shine. Let's go play down the desert. One time I left Warwick, and it was pouring like thunder, the thunderstorm. I said, these guys could be down there training. I'm going. We were down there training, and you couldn't even see one playing 1-2s in the mud, nigga. And it's so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
You know, but when it came down to playing Somerset, and we trained up there, and when we trained in this weather, we would probably wouldn't have beat them otherwise, but we trained in this weather. Boy, Port and Village were knocking the ball, pump. I believe we beat them 3-1. I said, man, this year, because it's what we implemented. And going to that triple cross, you know.
The one thing I want to say, Earl, the passion, right? I could still hear the passion in all these guys' voices, right?
Yeah.
All the families, looking at all the guys who played out of these families, they had tremendous passion. Like I remember Mason playing. I remember Patches playing the passion. Patches still has that passion as a coach. Blaine, passion. And one thing, Antoine, passion. You know, people say, "Hey, these guys are rude." No, it's passion. You know what I mean? And I pulled Enrique aside the other day. You know, told him I was disappointed in his performance in the final because I expected that forward line of PAC plus Marco coming from deep to really take it to Dannytown. And you know, he told me he had a little injury or something, but I want Enrique to get like Antoine, right? I want him to get hard, arrogant. Nobody, because Antoine still says up to date, I even say he played against you, but I said, no, you didn't. But that's my point. But that's I'd have got him sent off in the first 10 minutes.
Hey, but Dennis, we all like to challenge, you know. We all like to challenge. I remember when Santos came down here from Brazil, and everybody was nervous. I was like, I want to play these guys. I want to.
Yep, that's it.
I said, I want to play against Fabinho. Let him come along my side. Bring him.
I don't play football. I do football. That's what I tell them.
I used to tell guys, right? Deals are arrogant, right? I'm a deal, right? I could say it now. I used to be arrogant when I played football. I used to tell you, don't come down here. Don't come down here.
Yeah.
The Russells are arrogant, definitely.
You better believe it.
You know what I mean? But you have to have that passion and arrogance about you to go to a next level.
Hated to lose.
Hated to lose.
Hey, Dennis.
Yes.
My brother-in-law, Derek. Is deceased.
I ain't talking about my brother.
Yeah, I remember Derek.
I remember one time, Trojans played PAC down PAC. I would never forget this game. You know, Reggie Tucker is one of the best wingers I ever saw.
I don't believe it. That didn't go play.
Yeah.
Reggie Tucker is one of the best wingers I ever saw.
Yeah.
Boy, I saw him down there, but he came down that left side, boy, he sent Derek one way and sent him left. When he came down the next time,
put him in the
Derek had him up so high in the air when he had to go. I looked at him, he was on the right side sitting, he didn't catch the ball.
That's it.
And that's how I say something about Uncle Derek on Uncle Dale's behalf. Uncle Dale told me that Uncle Derek was so good, Uncle Dale couldn't get a start. So he went left back so Uncle Dale could start.
Yeah, right. That was the under 18s of National Stadium. When your boy for Devonshire coach, he left back. So they put my brother Derek left back because I was on the bench 2 games.
Whoa.
And then they brought me on. Now, when they brought me on, that was the end of that.
Yeah.
Hey, I was servicing Clyde Bass, right?
Yeah.
Clyde Bass. That game was spring a ball by Boodum. 40 yards by no problem.
Right there about the passion. You could hear it.
The passion, man.
Yeah. But before we go, I'm going to ask Dennis Russell, why couldn't you play with Antoine? Let it out.
No, listen to me. They say we couldn't play together, but we played together.
Listen
we
to
just
experience.
always strive for each other to do better.
Listen to experience. They could not play together.
But we won all the
time. Because we had the recipe. Bro. The reason we won because we had the recipe. You know what they'd do? They would sit up there and argue with one another. So we're down 2 men. In a 6-a-side tournament, that's 4 against 6.
Yep.
So you guys come on for one another. So if going on for one another,
Earl was actually simple. It was very simple. They both needed the end ball, and there's only one ball on the field.
Right, really one ball. So you know what I mean? Hey, let me say something about my brother Derek Russell. Hey,
they would have been able to play together quite good if you put two balls on the field. But because one ball,
just playing one tournament, Hermie. This summer tournament, NBA tournament.
We were triple crown champs, and we played against the Jamaica national team. And my brother and I played on the same team. I didn't have no problem with my brother because I used to love him because he used to protect me from the big forwards and the big defenders up in the back there.
Yeah.
So my brother scored both with the girls. 2-0 we beat them. And I used to be up front, and he used to dribble from left back, come into the midfield, pass it to me, I pass it back to him. He passed it to me, I pass it back to him, and he scored a right-footed goal. And then he scored a penalty left-footed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
2-0. Yeah,
That's fast.
Let me explain this tournament.
I'm actually been around this family all my life. I've been around this family all my life. I'm seeing it all. But the greatest out of everything seen, his coach me, is my father-in-law. His coach me, he's taught me the game. He knows the game. You know how guys play chess?
Right.
This guy knows the game inside out. He tells you exactly what's wrong with you, what you're doing. He says, I want you to dribble because that's your strength. You dribble all the time.
Right.
I say, I love that. Okay, give me the strength. But I'm saying, Tauncey, I could take my hat off. And people don't understand the legacy of Tauncey Earl Russell. He said one time he played football. I'm going to give you this story because I know you guys got to go, but you got to hear this story. He said one time, he said he dribbled the ball down the right, and the three guys come to, he go, boo! And then I'm going to jump back. Boom! They all jump back. And then he said one time he came off the bench. The team was gone. And the team down 3-0, and he scored. Am I right, Shab? He scored the whole four goals.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
The whole 4 goals.
Yeah. So I can explain that one tournament I was talking about.
This guy's still on this point?
Yes, coming up. There was this one summer tournament. So it was 2 games left in the tournament. I ain't scored a goal yet. I'm telling Twan, look, I need a goal, man. So your boy gives me a nice tap-in goal. I couldn't score them couple games for some reason. So he gave me a tap-in goal. I ended up getting the leading goal scorer for that tournament, and it was only 2 games left. How I done that? Superstar status.
I just want to, I know you're going to end this show, but I just want to add the progress in the country.
I just take
I'm going to speak about it, and I think it's got to be said. Like years ago, we have the East versus the West on the 17th. We don't see that no more.
Yep.
I don't know why I should be pointing the finger at, even though I'm going to, I want to end on a very good, positive note. With all the young men coming back from England, with all this stuff, see, we just got to put this together. So we've got a bunch of guys that come back from England, like my grandson, Johnny. People want to see them.
Yeah.
People want to see them play. And I always remember, again, Skip, you're there, when Sean and Davis come back, and Dale, you remember these other games?
Yeah.
Donny Park. People want to see these guys play. And what is it that I'm not understanding that it's not being put together? That we have all this and people want to see these guys play. Can you imagine all the people come out to play? See Marco play with Ajani, with Remy, and East and West. And it's so much more that we can do. That has to be done here. And it's a very good program, and I really do appreciate. I really am glad to be with you guys. Because you imagine having my brothers. Can you imagine what we had to deal with? A Park place. I ain't gonna go into that, but I'm saying about progress is that I want to see my grandson play with Marco. I want to see what we're saying, and I think it can be done. Dennis, I hope maybe you could be a part of organizing that and saying this. So just take up the reins and help these guys, and people will come out.
Yeah,
people will come out and watch them.
What I'll say is that the clubs have been requested to put together for a summer league for these youngsters that are coming back home.
Thank you.
Under 23.
It's gonna be an under 23 league, and
That's
all
great.
the clubs have been requested to submit teams. So you're gonna see some of these guys be able to play together and against each other for the summer.
Exciting.
And the development league wasn't played this season because of COVID, they said. So they're gonna have a continuation, and a lot of clubs have already signed up for the summer league.
Well, Patrick, you got a job, Patrick. You got a job for the summer, Patrick.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
Would like being as under 23, would you be able to implement like a couple of older players within the 23s like they normally used to do it? Or
Yes, that's what the
23?
discussion. That's what the discussion is going to be about, Ryan.
Yeah, I think what happens if you look at the under 23s, and then like you look in other countries, you can add like 2 or 3 older players to come into the under 23s. It helps the development that much more great. It would be that much more great, I feel.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, Earl, the last thing before I go, Earl.
Okay.
I think, and this enhances my stance about Bermuda having a Hall of Fame museum for football.
Yeah.
Because Bermuda, if you look over the years, from the Bummy Simons years, right up until today, Bermuda has had so many legendary football players that our young guys of today probably haven't even heard of.
Yes.
So Maceo, now you're in youth and sport. You could look into that because it's important for our kids today to know about our history.
Exactly.
How many young guys know about Joe Trott, George Ringman?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These type of players. I mean, Dale Russell, what he did, Randy Bean, what he did, the Deal brothers. You know what I mean? So Bermuda, I think, we're cheating ourselves by not having like a Hall of Fame. Of sports. You know what I mean? So I'm going to put that out there and see if that could gain some momentum.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I'll speak to that just very briefly about a new national policy is coming out very soon that I'm involved in working with, and in that new national policy, increasing the value of sports is learning who we are in sports. Part of my pride as who I am is based on sports. It's based on that I'm a rock field. So I have this pride. I have, so for our country to have the same type of pride, we have to know who we are and what we're done.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. And there's our discussions and what has to happen publicly with those type of discussions is the political will and the people like yourself and the people like the football communities to push those agendas. So those agendas have to be aggressively pushed. They have to be aggressively pushed so we learn who we are. And like I said, who I am is because of the legacy and the people that I grew up around and I grew up with that gives me confidence in myself to be on this TV show, to speak, to do what the things that I do.
Yes.
Sports is that important and football is that important for us, right?
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that.
Yeah, could I say something before you go?
Of course.
Yeah. The reason why I must say this here, I must say this here. As a youngster coming up, what I saw coming up is already lost. Because I saw players that a lot of people could only talk about, but I saw it personally. Like I saw guys like Stan Young, Gapaway, Bayfield Clark. These names that I'm talking about, you will only hear from older players or older people like me. But I actually saw these guys playing. I saw Gapaway playing, and he was like my idol coming up, playing for Dr. Randy. I used to watch this guy play, and I used to try to emulate what he does.
Yeah.
He was a smart human. Bayfield used to take the ball. Just 2 players from one end of the field to the other. Nobody can touch.
Dribbler and a shooter.
Bam, go.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm saying what you guys are talking about, if it continues on, the legends will automatically be lost like this is lost.
Right.
We can only look at pictures. But if you have a Hall of Fame, it can be posted.
Right.
And things you can see. I think
like Sir Barbara Daniels.
Sir Barbara Daniels.
Sir Barbara Daniels.
Sir Barbara Daniels. Yeah.
Yep.
Guys like that did. I could talk about guys like Eddie Wright. Guys never heard of players like this here. These guys was I would catch a bus in Georgia to go watch this guy play. And this was my generation as a youngster, what I saw coming up. And I mean, I look at guys like Myron Beans, man, Sayed Brown, guys like that there. Oh, and Social Club, they were like the Invincibles. And the reason why I say that was my generation as a youth, watching that generation.
Right.
And then from this generation to that generation, a Hall of Fame should be something that the music should have.
Long time ago.
Social Club had one of the best teams ever, man.
Huh?
Social Club had one of the best teams ever in these 65, 66, 67.
They're Brown, Barbara Daniels.
Sayed Brown, Barbara Daniels,
David Wright.
David Landy. I can name him. David Landy.
David Landy.
Yeah. Charles Bump.
All the balls, right. All the balls.
Melbourne.
Remember that team because nobody couldn't beat them.
Nobody could beat them. Oh no.
And for me, that's how I learned the game. Through guys like my daddy, Uncle Randy, Uncle Punchy, telling me about the guys before them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
the
passion they bore from them.
Yep.
Carried on to me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Carried on to Mayfield.
And I
used to tell people coming up, I knew footballers was gonna be. Blaine and Dennis never let the riff out of football. Jamaica, Kofi, Daniel, and them guys never let the riff out of football.
That's right.
Yep.
So I knew these guys were gonna be, and like Macy's son, Uncle Punch's grandson, Johnny, and these guys. Never let it be cricket game. Them guys will go cup match over football.
Yeah. You know, I'm talking to
and a football in the water.
Hey, you know, another thing I'll say, me and Dale used to do something. Dale would juggle the ball and keep the ball up for 10,000. Jogging the ball for 10,000 stop without dropping it. He was doing it in college, and he's up the mountain doing. He had these people looking at him. He got tired. He put the ball on his neck and started eating.
At 5,000.
At 5,000, started eating something.
Drink. And then get the other 5.
Then get the other 5. These are the things you should do.
Man.
Unreal.
Wow, I have 500 jugglers in my room. No touch nothing. 500. Let's have it.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, guys, because really, and I'm talking about Patches and Keto too. At 7 years old, 100 times, no problem.
Yeah.
Right. 100 times.
Yeah.
And without dropping it.
Without dropping, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's and you know what brings me great satisfaction, and with the panel tonight, is that our youngsters have gone on to be successful in this game. They've all and I think Punchy alluded to it earlier about entertaining. And every time we went on the field, it was about entertaining the crowd. I don't care if I know I'm gonna make a mistake. I tell you what, but I'm gonna tell you what, y'all gonna be happy at some point in time. I'm gonna do something that you like. I know that. Yeah,
gonna do something right, Cal. Exactly. Yes.
And I'm telling you, man, Patches picked up a football at 2 years old, and that was it.
Yeah.
Hey, from then on, it was it. Kid the same way, loved it, and it showed in the game, man.
That's right.
With all the all the Russell boys, I mean, I enjoy watching them. I haven't seen them play that much this year, but if I was to go, I would go to see them, man.
Right. It's one more thing I like to say. I wanted Neil to be here, right? You said yes. But I tell him I'll mention this. And you know, one time, Terry would come down that left wing, he would beat Bill the saying chick 10 out of 10.
Yes.
10 out of 10. Crack said, hey, switch. Crack's played the studs on hard studs. He's got you 10 out of 10. Switch. Turn game down here. From up here, or you saw a stud bird. I tell you, I'll mention that because he used to have great rivals in Central Club and Village.
Right.
So I tell you, I said, if you ain't gonna talk, I'll mention that one for you.
Dennis, I've been thoroughly entertained tonight.
I'll tell you. Beautiful.
You guys have
love all you guys, man. Love all you guys.
You guys
yeah, man. What it's all about.
We want to thank you for allowing us to share with you your memories of going down memory lane. Hopefully, you brought back some of those memories that juggled a lot of other people's minds of what you were able to accomplish, and hopefully we educated some people tonight, especially with Dale's history. Again, a lot of people don't know what was accomplished by Dale Russell, and hopefully some people will be educated tonight on his history. So I want to say, on behalf of Island Stats, thank you very much. And gentlemen, have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Yes, guys.
Bye, guys.
Good.